Okay, this is lesson 7 for 7th grade, and we're just doing a little introduction to lines, angles, and planes. So basically some introduction to geometry, and what it's going to be about is mostly naming lines, angles, and just a few concepts. Not a whole lot of math involved today, more so just some basic stuff about these different things. Alright, the first thing that we need to talk about is a plane. And a plane in math is nothing like the aircraft. It's actually a flat surface with 2 dimensions that goes on forever. The students have seen the coordinate plane before. That's our XY plane, or the coordinate plane, where our numbers go off positively, negatively, positively, negatively, vertical and horizontal directions, 2-dimensional. So like a sheet of paper, except for it goes on forever. Now, things we can draw in a 2-dimensional world: we can put a line on there, we can put a point, we can put a lot of points. Yeah, anything like that, points. So, in a 2-dimensional world, we can put things like that on there. These things can also exist in a 3-dimensional world, which we will get into a little bit, but not a whole lot. The most important thing to remember about a line, like a plane, goes on forever in both directions. Alright, so a line is actually made up of an infinite amount of points. A point has no dimension, which is a little strange. Basically, a point is mostly a location, and that it shows you where the line's going. It directs the line with certain locations. So once we connect those locations, we get our line. And if we were going to write out what a point is, or the symbol for point, all you have to do is write, so this is point A. All you have to do is write A. That would mean point A. Now we have a line here, line AB. We have 2 different symbols that we can use for that, or shortcuts as I like to call them. Line AB or line BA. That could be AB with little arrows above it, or BA with lines above it. Either one will work, and little lines and the arrows show you that it's a line that goes on forever. Some other types of things that we can have in a 2-dimensional world or a 3-dimensional world. Array. Array starts at one point and then goes on forever in one direction. We can have 2 names for this. AB, only one arrow, or EA. Either one of those would be okay. And a segment. A segment is something we can actually measure because it has 2 stopping points. And to call it, or to name this with symbols, we could have AB or EA. And that just has a little segment above it. You don't need to put endpoints on the symbol. And what we're about to get into, if we look at AB and AC, we can say that AB, segment AB, plus BC will equal AC. So I will show you what that means in a little bit after this. Okay, so we want to use symbols to name a line, 2 rays, and a segment. Well, one of our lines could be AB, or BA. 2 rays that we could have, AB or BA. And a segment, once again, AB or BA. Each with their own little hat, if you want to call it that, to show that we have a segment, ray, or a line. Alright, and this is where the last thing I was saying about AB plus BC will come into play. They say that AB is 3 centimeters. And that AC is 7 centimeters. Find the length of BC. Well, if we know the whole thing is 7, and we know that AB plus BC will get us to 7, we can take 7 minus 3 to find out that this should be 4 centimeters. Alright, moving on. Intersections. Lines can intersect on our planes and in a three-dimensional world, and when they intersect at one point, that's what we call it. We call it an intersection. Later on in algebra and stuff, we'll be able to actually find out where they intersect, but we would need a coordinate plane for that. If two lines do not intersect, they are called parallel. And here's the symbol for that. Q, we would say line QR is parallel to line ST. Parallel to ST. So QR, line QR is parallel to ST. Those two little bars mean is parallel to. That means those lines will never touch. They have the same slope. Now, if we have two lines that intersect at a right angle, a 90-degree angle, that's what this means, 90 degrees, or a right angle, we call them perpendicular lines. And here's how we would write that. Line MN is perpendicular to line PQ. Okay? That little symbol means perpendicular to. And lines in a plane that are not parallel or perpendicular, we call those oblique. That would be an intersection like that. Not parallel, but also not at 90 degrees, so they're not perpendicular. I'm going to check the time on my video quick here. Okay. We're still doing okay. On time. Alright. Now, some angles. Angle is formed by two rays, and they start with a vertex. It's the common endpoint of the two rays. So here we have ray MD and ray MB, and they form an angle. There are two different ways that we can name that angle. Angle DMB is our angle symbol. It also could be angle BMD. Now notice that the vertex M is always in the middle for naming an angle. However, if you have an angle such as this one, we could call this angle A. That'll save us some time. And angle 1. They're a little easier to name if they already have a label. So any of those would suffice. It just depends on what's given to you on the name. Alright, certain types of angles that my students have seen before. We have a right angle, which we already talked about. This is 90 degrees. An acute angle, less than 90 degrees. A straight angle is 180 degrees. And obtuse is more than 90 degrees. So that's the difference between our four types of angles. If we look at A real quick here, which line is parallel to line AB? Well, here's line AB. Which one is parallel to it? That means which one is never going to touch line AB. They will not intersect, and that would be line CD. as we can see, those will never touch. And our second question, still looking at line AB, but which one is perpendicular to it? Well, that line would be the one that makes a square corner or a 90-degree angle with it, which is here. And BD is the one that does that. So line BD. Alright. Okay. Alright, now this one has quite a few angles that they want us to point out. It says name the straight angle. Remember, straight is 180 degrees, that's our flat line, straight line. That would be angle AMB. Name the obtuse angle, that's right here, AMC. Name two right angles. We've got one right there and one right there. We have AMB and angle DMB. And finally, two acute angles. We have two that are a little harder to see. We've got one here, BMC, and CMD. Check my time again quickly. Alright, got a couple minutes of tape left. We talked quickly about some three-dimensional things. Around the room, we looked at corners of the room and things like that, where we'd have walls and floors meeting each other. And I came up with this question here, or I presented this question at the end of class, and I was able to show some of my artistic abilities, whatever they may be. Says sketch two intersecting planes, and remember planes go on forever, so we got to keep that in mind. Which word below best describes the location where the lines intersect? All right, well, two intersecting planes is going to look like this. And keep going here. Something kind of like that. So we're getting a three-dimensional effect, and we're looking at this intersection right here. Thing to remember, it goes on forever. This way and this way. This right here. That's a line. Now I want to check my time real quick here. Alright. One last thing. I had the students look at two walls, and I asked them if there's a line on this plane and a line on this plane, would it necessarily mean that they're going to intersect? And the quick answer was yes, but it's actually no, because if we imagine a line here, here, I'll show them this picture real
Following
quick.
students, please come to the office. Samantha Fernandez and Kylie Yankoyak and Samantha Newman. Samantha Newman, Kylie Yankoyak, and Samantha Fernandez to the office, please. Also a reminder, take your picture forms home tonight. Pictures are next Tuesday. So make sure that you get them home to your parents today. Thank you.
Alright, a line there and a line here aren't necessarily going to intersect. One goes above, one goes below. And I have to turn off the camera. But that was lesson 7 for 7th grade.